Hi, this is Debbie and Dr. Rob. How
Nice
are you
to be
today?
here. Good, good. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm excited to talk about how we take action and not get the results we want, and
Yes.
the wisdom of the Upanishads of the deepest driving desire. And
So
I'm
here's
really
a quote
excited.
for you. You are your deepest driving desire. As your deepest driving desire is, so is your will. As your will is, so is your deed. And as your deed is, so is your destiny. Right? So there you see the domino effect directly from the mind, your deepest driving desire in your mind, all the way to what you create as your destiny.
Your results.
Yes.
And Carl Jung said, until you make the unconscious conscious, you'll think of your life as just fate, the things that show up. I mean, I'm paraphrasing, but
Yeah.
that if you don't really understand this, and when we talk about the deepest driving desire, it's really the unconscious, what we're not aware of.
Absolutely.
So let's start with just how normal people think, not us.
I haven't seen a normal person yet.
The
but
ordinary person thinks that I have an idea,
yeah.
I'm going to think about this idea, and I'm going to set an intention, which a lot of people set their intentions, which is great. There's nothing wrong with that. And then they take action toward that intention. Like, I want to find love. I want to make more money. I want to change careers. And then they take action, and then they get the results that's not really what they want.
Yeah.
They say, how come I'm getting all these people that are not appropriate? How come the money's not coming in? Why is this happening?
Right. And the reason it's not happening is because the deepest driving desire is unconscious. The unconscious mind, at the personal level, we can think of it as our programmed mind. All the conditioning that has gone on through, from the time that we were born up until yesterday or this morning, that's your conditioning. And it's unconscious because you're not thinking about it, but it's having a big impact on how you see the world, what you think is possible, and what you think is impossible for you, for yourself.
And what's really interesting is it's unconscious, but when you find out what it is, you notice it everywhere. Like, it's always been right in front of you.
Yeah.
And the only way to really see your unconscious mind is look at your results in life.
Yeah.
First of all, the first step is to say that there's no independent reality outside of my mind. The results in my life are not by some other force besides what's inside me.
That's right.
If you don't even get that far, why even do this kind of work? Because if you're thinking that the power's outside of you, then why work with your mind anyway? Just to kind of, find a way to feel good about your life and settle for, rationalize why you have the life you want. So you have to say, yes, I'm creating this. And that means everything. That means the things you don't want, the things you do want. So your results are showing your unconscious mind. So that's the first clue.
Yeah, that if you want to see what is my unconscious mind or what is my deepest driving desire that's hidden from me, look at your results. Are you happy with your relationships? Are you happy with your work? Are you happy with your creativity level? Anything. The external situation right now in those areas is what's in your mind. It is like looking into a mirror. It's reflecting back to you what you really believe.
So here's an example. If you're in business for yourself, or you want to get a promotion, or you're in a corporate job, and you have this intention that I want to get a raise, I want to get a promotion, or I'm on my own business, I want to increase my revenue, and you're setting the intention, you set your goals, you take action, and then you're not reaching those goals.
Right.
You're looking and you're saying, okay, well, the bank account's not showing any sales, or the job got passed over. My boss is telling me I can't have that job. The ordinary person will say, I'm doing something wrong, I got to change strategies, or I have to go find another job somewhere. The enlightened person says, what am I doing to create this?
Right.
What is this saying about my mind? And then you start taking the power back. If you blame it on everyone else, or you feel like it's something you're chasing out there, you lose all your power.
That's right, because you're giving your power away. You're saying, I'll only be happy and I'll be content and I'll be in charge when things external to me line up in a certain way, and good luck waiting for that. I mean,
And
you
it's
might be
never
waiting
enough.
forever.
It's never enough too,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that's right.
If you keep looking for that carrot that's going to fulfill you.
Absolutely.
I think the greatest freedom in the world is to know that you create your life, to know that you're in charge. So this system is really great. So, okay, so you got the results and you're saying the money's not in the bank. I know I'm creating this. And again, it's not beating yourself up and saying, I'm a bad person. I did it wrong. It's more like, be curious about it.
Yes.
Yeah, be open and curious, and say, let's get to know each other. Results. Let's see what's in here.
Exactly.
And you will have an emotion, typically responding to that result.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and those emotions are really the key to finding what are the limitations, the assumptions that you're making about what's possible for your life. It's the emotional reaction to life that really limits us, because you feel it as something tangible. You feel it as kind of you hit the wall. People talk about those glass ceilings. That's exactly it. It's not that there's an actual ceiling there. It's that there's a mental ceiling, an emotional ceiling that you're hitting, and you're not allowed to go past it until you do that inner work. And that's what it's about, right? How do you make the unconscious conscious? You have to look inside. You have to examine your life. And
so let me give you an example to bring it down for you to apply. So say you're not making the money, and you have this fear around that money. Whatever that is, I examine that fear. So the fear could be, at first, I'm not going to be able to pay my bills. I'm going to be, homeless, but deeper, if you examine it a little more and you just be in that feeling, you're going to notice that what you really are afraid of is maybe what people think, what people, what you think about yourself. You'll feel like a loser. You'll feel like everyone else will think you're a loser. There's maybe a survival mechanism. And what I found is that there's three main drivers that are driving your results. And one is pride. So if you're feeling ashamed because you didn't get the result, you're driven by pride.
Oh yeah, I know that one.
You do. And so you're worried about what other people think. The second one is protection, where you feel that if I have that money, I'm going to feel like a sense of security. And so a lot of people, money for them is protection. So they're taking that action, but they're feeling that money is going to protect me. The third one is power, where if I have that money, I'm going to have power. I'm going to be able to use and wield my power to do things in the world. And so if you're using money to get power, to get pride, to be proud of yourself, or to feel protected, what you're doing is you're giving away all your power basically to this money. And so when you're taking the actions, the deepest driving desire is really the fear of not feeling, not having it. So you're having all this energy that's actually giving you, that matches the feeling that you have in the result. So you see how that kind of makes a line. It's kind of a crooked way to go, but you see that the feeling that you get in response to your result is showing the feeling that's unconsciously driving your actions and your will.
Yeah, so it's, in that sense, psychologically, it would mean it's more of a defense mechanism, compensation for your feeling of lack. And you're using the money or the success as a way to compensate for something. And that's not success, and that's not creativity. Basically, you're just kind of running the same ego program, but in a kind of what do they call that? Like an external scheme.
Yeah, like a racket or something.
Yeah, like a racket, like that. That's
you figure it out, like the three cups that you try to find
the
nut under, and so you're playing this, and so the feeling that you get from that result is showing that fear that's underneath. If you don't have a fear around the result and say, oh, okay, well, I didn't get that result, let me go back, you're working with you just keep moving. But what most people do is they freak out. I'm not getting the result. They get triggered, and then they feel stuck, and they feel like, well, let me just try harder. And what they're doing is just digging deeper into that fear. And so how do we let go of that fear of not being enough, feeling like the money's going to save us? Because of course people will argue, well, I have to pay my bills, I have to put roof over, feed myself, and keep the roof above my head, and pay my mortgage or whatever.
Yes, well, all those are survival mechanisms, and we need those things in place, and we need to understand the basic levels of survival, no doubt. But creativity, creating your life, it really means understanding that the mind is the one that's dictating your reality. Most people operate on the opposite principle. They're waiting for external circumstances to show them that things are possible. And that's not going to happen, because the external will simply reflect what you believe is possible. Mm-hmm. So as you start to examine your mind, you're opening up new possibilities in your mind. Then you'll see those possibilities externally manifested.
That's a beautiful way to say it, because it's really that if you really truly believe there's lack in your life, and that you don't really feel like that you can create wealth, and that you can create success, it's almost like it's basically interrupting the flow. So you're putting all that into your action. You're not going with that clarity of mind, thinking, I'm a conscious being, I can create what I want, and I'm going to go get it, and I'm going to feel in the flow, and I'm going to receive it, and it's there's no doubt in my mind. Yeah. What most people do is they doubt it, and they look for the result to prove that they can have it, like you said, versus believing it in the onset. So we have to reverse engineer. So what I would leave you with is, think about the emotion. Mm-hmm. What results are you getting? Reverse engineer, what actions did you take? And then think about the energy you put into the action. Is it a lot of fear and rushing and intensity of trying to force things to happen? Yep. And then the will is the why. Why do you want what you want? Why do you want the money? What's that intention about? And then you go into, is there fear underneath it? And that is really where the rubber meets the road, as you say, to find out what that is.
Right. So again, your deepest driving desire is who you are, meaning it's going to give you your destiny. As your deepest driving desire is, so is your will, meaning that's how you're going to intend things. As your will is, so is your deed. Your will determines your pattern of actions. As your pattern of actions, as your deed is, so is your destiny.
So it's who you are.
Yes.
It's who you are being when you take those actions, not actually what you're doing, which is kind of crazy, because a lot of people think, I have to have the right strategy, I have to, have the right in marketing, my brand and my funnel, and it's all of those things are fine, but because you need to take the action. But if you bring this fear and this beingness of lack into everything you do, your results will show you exactly where you are. So all you need to do is look at your results to see what's in your mind.
All right.
And then you have the keys to unlock it and change it.
The keys to the kingdom.
Yes. So thanks for joining us today for this brief little chat. We hope you find out what your deepest driving desire is and make it a confident, powerful, higher level desire, higher purpose for knowing who you are and the limitlessness that you have to create what you want. And we hope to see you soon on another video. Visit us at debbieandrob.com.
See you next time.
Take care.